What's up, guys? Welcome back to WCS America, the final day of Season 1. I'm axeltoss. I'm joined by axslav, about to jump into Game 3 of the losers match. It's Suppy versus Illusion. Suppy taking Game 1, Illusion taking Game 2. And again, to kind of explain what's on the line here, the loser is going to be completely out of WCS America and must re-qualify. The winner will go on to the next match of the night to see if they can qualify for Premier League.
That's right. Of course, it's a pretty significant difference because the Challenge League qualifiers are going to be insanely difficult, but the best situation is, of course, to win this match and the next one, get in that Premier League of Season 2.
Yeah.
So both players will be looking forward to doing that. I don't know, man. These guys, both games, honestly, were pretty one-sided. Like, Suppy just was always ahead Game 1. Game 2, after Illusion defended that Roach Bane attack, he just was ahead the whole game. And Suppy made a really cool effort at a comeback with that counterattack. But, you know, in the end, Illusion's army is just too strong. Like, it was just too much straight to your bio. Was not going to be stopped.
You know, I like Suppy's decision, though, in a sense, based on how Illusion played in Game 1 to go for that Ling Roach Baneling all-in. And it was pretty nicely calculated. He even checked with Lings to see if Widow Mines were there. And then, like, literally 3 seconds after those Lings checked to see if the Widow Mines were there, the Widow Mines burrowed in the ground. And then Suppy's in a situation where he engages not knowing the Widow Mines were there, so not necessarily peeling away the units like you want to absorb those Widow Mine shots before you engage. Widow Mine shots got some great shots off. And then once those Widow Mines get those shots off on like 6, 7 Banelings, that represents so much of that push, and it's going to be so deflated. So again, little minor things that could have happened that could have changed that game. So I'm not necessarily disappointed with how Suppy played that. I love the idea. But Illusion, very fortunate with his Widow Mine placement, Widow Mine shots. And, you know, it all comes down to this, guys. Anything can happen here on Star Station. In the bottom left-hand location, I present to you the Red Zerg player representing Team Evil Geniuses, trying to avoid being eliminated here from WCS America. He must win this game. He is Suppy. His opponent in the top right, your blue Terran player, representing Team Mouse Sports. One of the, if not the top Terran player from the United States. Probably him and Theognis are in that conversation a bunch, I bet. Your blue Terran player, Illusion. Overcame a 1-0 deficit to win, to tie the series up. Can he continue?
It would definitely be, I mean, one of these guys is not going to be in WCS America.
That's hard to think about, man.
And, well, I guess they can always requalify, but
sure,
both these guys are such iconic figures.
Yep, of the American scene.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost a shame that we can't have them both.
Yeah.
But that's how competition works, guys. That's how it works. You either win or you lose, and if you both lose, then you're both in that loser match, where only one of you can emerge.
It's inevitable. It is inevitable.
So we're seeing the command center first opening this game from Illusion. Which is something. You know, one thing I like about Illusion, along with almost all Terran players nowadays, they don't do that. It's like the barracks thing command center with no gas was always such a silly and pointless build, and it took Terrans about like 2 years to realize it. Because you can't put on pressure with one barracks Marines, right? So it's like, why not go command center first?
Sure.
It makes no sense not to do it. So we can see Illusion every game either going for the Reaper early, which does make sense. You can put pressure on that with the Reaper, or the command center first open.
Suppy, what does he see? I think the Overlord's looking at the national. I don't know if did he poke up and see the. Let's see here. Okay, so he didn't see the high ground. But when a Reaper doesn't show up around now, you kind of know, I think.
Yes.
Because the Reaper timing is probably around like 4:10, I'd say.
And there's no bunkers in his face either, so it's obviously not a
Marine thing.
Yeah.
And he's gonna see that command center land on the low ground. Now, how does Suppy react?
So he's already getting Zerging speed, and one thing he's gonna want to use with that, he's gonna want to make sure he takes map control. So if he can get a jump on the first couple Hellions, you know, he'll probably have speed when there's 2 Hellions on his side of the map and 2 just coming out. If he can pick out those Hellions, he can take map control and put a lot of counter pressure on Illusion's natural.
Right.
The other thing we have to look out from Suppy is he going to go straight for that third base, or is he going to do something a little bit funny? Now, given the fact he's not remining gas, I would anticipate a third hatchet coming down fairly soon here. Oh, and even Illusion putting that third command center right in Suppy's face. He's like taunting him, like, you know what? I can do this. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it, right? You tried last game because last game took a very fast third CC as well.
Yeah.
And you tried last game, didn't work because, you know, my defense is gonna be good enough.
He doesn't care that his plans are known. He'll shout Hodor all day long, and he doesn't care what Suppy hears or sees. Very, very, very interesting choice there from Illusion. Now, Suppy seeing this, well, how does he react? That's the money question.
So we're either gonna, I mean, most likely it'll be 2 Evo Chambers, unless he wants to do another all-in. But Suppy's a guy who's very confident in his macro and in his late game. So if he just lost, you know, doing an all-in, it's unlikely he's gonna try it again. There you see those 2 Evo Chambers.
We should see 2 engineering base soon, shouldn't we? Oh, he's making water.
This is actually interesting. No starport, no E-base. This is kind of a conservative opening. It can also be turned into a little bit of a timing attack.
Yeah.
But what's a little bit interesting is normally there is a lot of 3 barracks, 1 factory time attacks in Tyrion Resurged, but almost all of them you get it before the 3rd command center, and then you can do a really strong one. Of course, it's much more committed. So Illusion and getting these extra barracks after the 3rd command center, it's late enough that I don't think he can threaten a very scary time attack. But it also is still delaying the E-base and a starport. Now, I think it's just him wanting to make sure he's not at risk of dying to early shenanigans. He has a lot of marine production.
You know, what this could be too is, does Suppy have a rush run?
No.
Okay, so he doesn't have rush runs. So, you know, Suppy could see that 3rd, right? And he's like,
there's
okay.
constant Helling production.
Right, so he can be like, okay, I'm going to skip the roach run because I know my opponent's going for a really fast 3rd. Illusion, probably knowing this, maybe, is like, okay, let's construct some sort of timing. Even though I have 3 bases, I can still get some units on the field and exploit the fact that my opponent not only doesn't have a roach run, but, you know, he's probably teching really fast. He's probably being as greedy as I am or thinking he is. So, but again, he's not going to have Metavax with this push if he decides to do it. But he can still do a decent amount of damage. If he decides to do it. I mean, he might not.
This is a long map to cross. I don't
yeah.
think we'll see Marines cross the map before Metavax. So I think you just want to get a higher Marine count. And that's, you know, Illusion's been doing that all this series. He really wants to get a lot of bio units. He's very confident in his splitting. Doesn't prioritize, you know, Widow Mines or Metavax to the same extent as some other Terran players do. Now, we can get a couple shots off on the drones. Now, the Hellions could get stuck here.
They could. Has to be very careful. Kiting away. Oh, good positioning on those Hellions.
It is. They're probably going to be run down and killed, though. Now they're too damaged. Maybe not. It's actually very good micro. He's getting a lot of big hits off. Now Suppy's starting to micro, too, and he's going to keep those up.
Okay. So,
and Suppy's a little bit ahead in upgrades.
How many did you lose as many drones there? Was it like, it looked like 6 or 7, I think. Oh, wow. 1?
Just 1. He lost a lot of Zerglings.
That's terrible.
So it wasn't like it was a bad trade for a Terran necessarily. It was probably roughly even.
Probably trade, yeah. Like, units lost should be pretty even, I would think, right now after that engagement. Yeah.
But you know, the one thing that's not so good for Illusion is that, but also the Hellions. It's kind of weird to lose 4 Hellions and have 4 left because Hellions are a unit that, like, every time you add more to them, they get better, right? So like if right now you sell the 8, even if there's 40 Speedlings, if you migrate Hellions, well, it's very difficult for the Zerg to deal with 8 Hellions with just Speedlings. But now he only has 4, and 4 is the number we saw last time out. If there's enough Speedlings, they can kind of overrun it and surround and take them out.
And then later on, get the transformation upgrade. Make him into Hellbats. Hellions, right?
It's an expensive upgrade. Yeah, I mean, but he actually has been doing that. We've seen him. You've seen him do that.
How expensive is that upgrade? Is it like 150, 150?
It's 150, 150. Yeah, which is why you never.
It's not that
I mean, but you think about that price. He's.
But you can turn 10 Hellions into 10 Hellbats, man.
Yeah, if you have 10 Hellions, it's worth it. But.
Yeah. Because imagine if you just make 10 Hellions and your opponent is like worrying about those, and doesn't necessarily think Hellbats are coming because you have 10 Hellions and the upgrade finishes, and this would be like some sort of rush play. I guess you skip the upgrades and just drop everywhere. But then they have units to deal with Hellions. I don't know. I'm just theorizing. It's okay to theorize in StarCraft 2.
It is. It is. It's important mental exercise, actually. To get
yes. You see? So, I don't know. It's fun to think about.
Suppy's building a couple extra hatcheries, which could indicate he really wants to go very speeding, baiting heavy. He's taking a 4th base as well. And this is where Illusion's kind of a tough spot because he doesn't have the upgrade advantage. He does want to start putting pressure, probably across the right side of the map towards the 4th base. But how does he go about doing it? There's so much creep spread now on the map.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite... Like,
it's kind of a side effect of losing Hellions earlier, too. It's
it is,
you're not necessarily able to patrol the end of the creeps to make sure that doesn't get out of control, but the creep is getting very scary. And so Illusion's going to have to deal with that sooner rather than later. Or it's going to be scarier.
And Suppy's threatening some attacks here. And one of the scary things for Terran on this map is when you push out, your 3rd base is so vulnerable to counterattacks. Now, of course, there's some good aspects of this map for Tyrion as well. It's a great map for drop play. So we'll have to look out to see if Illusion really starts to exercise a lot of these counter drops. Right now, there's nothing else going on. There's mutas on the field, so drop play is not recommended unless you have something else distracting him. Like you drop as you push, right? You start pushing out, and then your reinforcements, instead of like just sending them across the map where it might be cut off.
Line.
Yeah, exactly. You can pick them up and drop somewhere else with the reinforcements. It's often a technique a lot of Terrans use. But look at this, how Suppy's already positioned these units to threaten the counterattack, and that's going to make Illusion a little bit more hesitant about moving out on the map.
All right. Very, and the creep spread is still getting scarier.
Illusion really wants that watchtower. He really wants that unit on the watchtower so he can get that extra warning against potential counterattack. He could build a center tower too. Center towers can work, but the watchtower is even further out there, gives a lot of vision. But Suppy keeps denying that, and that really puts Illusion in a position where, you know, it's dark out there.
Yeah. Very dark, very scary. You don't know what's
when
out
this
there.
drop was spotted. There's a drop going across. An Overlord spotted that drop. Mutas are going to find it.
Well, I kind of want to see the map vision of Suppy right now. I feel like it's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he has about 80% of the map covered, and if you look at the mini-map...
yeah, that's not only the creep, but look at his Overlord spread too.
Yeah, it's...
Suppy sees this entire map.
The Overlords are actually bigger than the creep almost. Well, as far as the only drops they are, because they cover all the airspace, and the creep covers so much of the ground space.
Look at that vision.
Illusion does have a decent Widow Mine field, but he's not any more Widow Mines, so he's really just cranking out Marines like crazy. And if Suppy gets to those Ultralists and those Infestors, the very Marine-heavy style is going to have some problems.
Let's see how much trouble Illusion has securing a 4th base.
He didn't get the 3rd attack either.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He's just getting armor.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, yeah. Just,
not a gigantic deal.
Forgot it for a little bit.
We have a little bit of a counter. Okay, Muta's heading towards that 3rd base. Command center slowly making its way forward. There's a Birdling. Oh, he's just going to drop a bunch of creep. Well, you don't lose those Overlords.
Yeah. I think they were just rallied up there.
Oh, targeting the command center. If you can get that, that'd be huge. Backing that up.
Yeah, Illusion does not want to lose that command center. He's going to go and try to defend that. And look at this, the Hive's done now. So Suppy is not going to be that far behind in 3-3, which is
not at all.
Often one of Tyrion's key strengths, that time when they have 3-3 and Zerg doesn't, and that's going to be a much smaller window now.
Yeah.
And Suppy's developing a lot of money in the bank as well.
Needs more production. I think that'd be good.
Illusion or Suppy?
Illusion.
Oh, yes.
Production facilities, that is.
He definitely could use
Widow Mines. Okay.
You know, Suppy's content. Why should Suppy go in? He's been on 5 bases, and Illusion's been on 3 the whole game, right?
Yeah.
As time goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse for Illusion. Now the Ultra's Cavern is about to... This is looking a lot like Game 1, actually.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Illusion, and he needs his 4th. Illusion really needs a 4th right now. It's so important he gets that down.
And even if he takes a 4th, he still gets a 5-base Zerg.
Yeah, that's true.
He's all the upgrades done.
So what does he do from here? I mean...
The problem is he needs to have really good engagements, but his composition, similar to Game 1, it's like, if you take a look at the Units tab, it's basically all Marines.
Right.
Like, it's literally, it's all
Low
Marines.
tech. Well, Marines are good.
I mean, Marines are good for the first 20 minutes.
Sure.
After that, they're still good.
Until the super late game.
Yeah, and even then, they're actually still, like, good to have some. But right now, you don't have, like, he has literally, is 90% Marines.
73 Marines.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, whereas you want a lot of Marines. They're, like you said, they're really good units. But all Marines, there's some weaknesses. Ultralists and Infestors are the 2 biggest ones, and potentially Banelings, depending on
oh, speaking of which, Baneling's heading right for that base. There's a bunker and a supply depot.
There's actually not too many SCVs.
Yeah, he just transferred a lot to that 4th, but the 4th actually getting sieged on.
Oh, what's going on? I mean, Suppy, what Suppy's doing, he's just trying to trade off some units.
Yes,
he's replacing them with...
Like Game 1, exactly.
Exactly the same thing. And creep keeps... I mean, the creep's everywhere. Where's Illusion going to take his 5th? There's going to be creep
I don't answer to that, Nick.
This is looking worse and worse for Illusion. He still has that. There's a medevac shown on the top left. It's kind of been there for a while now.
Isn't that kind of strange saying that when I'm sure Units loss is actually pretty darn even right now? And we're saying that it's looking dire for Illusion.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's the thing, is Units loss is one part of the picture. The other is economy throughout the game.
Exactly.
Composition.
Tech, what your composition looks like. So people are like, you guys are crazy. Big engagements haven't happened. Well, Suppy is doing this. He's getting a bunch of Ultras on the field. He's going for the Banelings coming in here as well. Great command center placement, honestly. Forcing the Ultras through a choke. That's exactly what you want. And Suppy's going to have to back up a little bit. And now, look at this. 2 starports on the way from Illusion. This didn't happen in Game 1. Remember, he was caught completely off guard.
Exactly.
But is there a greater spar even on the way?
The other thing that's a little worried about is the Marauder count's low. He only has 2 tech at barracks.
Drop is good.
This drop is nice. So the two starports is if he goes Broodlords, I can deal with it.
Yep. No, he's not necessarily going to use them right now.
No, he's not. He might add Tech Labs even and start doing some Raven VCs. But the one thing is still, he can only build Marauders 2 at a time. So if Suppy doesn't go Broodlords, if he just sticks with Ultralists, you know, ideally at this point in the game, in turn wants to have a few more Tech Labs on their barracks. And he's going to give him to spin this passive. Or, I mean, not like he needs to have less reactors, just build more barracks, right? And
yes.
And then Tech Labs.
I don't know if Suppy can engage here. That planetary is...
Yeah, I mean, the planetary he can take down, but of course, that's if he loses a bunch of Ultras, it's not... Planetary is not that expensive, right?
Yeah. And again, the Sim City, you're forcing your Ultras into... Like, the Ultras want that sweeping range. They want the wide open space. If you're building buildings everywhere, they can't make that happen. You have to go through a choke. You have to line them up.
And if Suppy wants to trade a bunch of Ultras for a planetary, he's better off going to the planetary to 4th instead of this one.
Yep.
Because that's actually the most important mining base for Illusion right now. Yeah, Suppy keeps thinking about engaging here, but it's just...
He can't be cost efficient. He can't justify to himself to go for it when it's just going to be ridiculously cost inefficient for him.
I mean, he can be somewhat cost efficient. He has so much money in the bank, but
sure.
there's a limit to it, right?
Yeah. You're not gonna have a farm and grow eggs and just throw the eggs away, right? You want to make use of your eggs. That's a good analogy, axeltoss.
It is. It's a great analogy. Here come the Broodlords. And can Illusion figure this out? He has the starports, but he's maxed out with no Vikings, so he's gonna have to lose units before he can build in the Vikings, and then there's that lag time between when they actually get built.
So he needs to identify this.
Oh, this can just drop at the 4th or the 5th. Okay. I'm always shocked when Suppy doesn't have a whole bunch of spawns board.
Yeah, there's no reason not to when you have 7,000 minerals in the bank.
Well, you know,
can he spot the Broodlords?
He is in college. He knows about saving money.
True.
It's very important.
That's actually a fantastic point.
College is expensive, man.
It is.
In the States, more so than probably most other places in the world.
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay, getting the Raven energy upgrade. Now, if you can get a bunch of Ravens on the field, they're great against Broodlords. The problem is the Broodlords are moving now. Illusion cannot afford to lose his 4th base. And that 4th base, there's a lot of Zerg heading towards it right now.
And again, we're not seeing any additional area units in production. He hasn't identified the Broodlords. I'm looking at that production scene. The instant he starts making either Raven... I mean, he's maxed. It's not like he can easily make additional units.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, he can't. Like, he has to wait till he loses units. But he has to somehow lose a few units and get anti-air on the field and keep the planetary alive. Because if he loses this 4th, his amount of money he's bringing in is going to sky. Now, he's killing the 6 of Suppys. That's nice. But Suppy still has 5 other bases.
Got to repair that planetary. Keep that guy alive. Planetary is going to rack up a lot of kills here. But we're seeing Vikings, we're seeing Raven in production here. Trying to get those out on the field to be able to deal with this composition. Suppy knows he's pressured on time. He knows he must do damage. Trying to take down this planetary. Infestors! Infestors, where are you going? Infestors! Oh my god!
A significant blunder by Suppy there.
He just lost all his full energy Infestors.
You know, and Suppy can afford to lose some units, but with these drops continuing to do more and more damage, if he doesn't take out this planetary, he's got to take out the planetary now.
I mean, the Vikings are about to come out here. They're actually doing some damage to the mutants. There's still a lot of Marines underneath, and there's no Infestors to funnel these SCVs, which he would love right now. And now Marauder's going to take some pot shots at these Queens. A lot of Broodlords overhead, but what's the anti-air once these mutants die?
Are the SCVs being picked? No, there's still a lot of SCVs repairing.
Planetary, how many kills does Planetary have?
It's got to, I mean, it's mostly Broodings, but
115. 119.
Okay, it is going to go down.
125.
And that's actually huge. Suppy can afford to actually lose a lot of stuff if he kills that, because that was the mining base for Illusion, right? In fact, I think that was the only mining base.
Yeah, I think you're right. Might have like a mineral.
What does his 3rd look like?
I think there's like a mineral too there.
Couple. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
There's I mean, those will be gone in about 20 seconds. Those will be gone. I mean, even without dropping Mule there, they're actually...
He doesn't even want to drop Mules there.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're all gone anyway. And Suppy traded horribly. He lost the 6th base, and his 5th took some fire, but he's still on 5 bases.
Yeah.
Against a 3-base Illusion.
And he has a very high-tech army, which is very important.
I mean, Illusion is still maxed out.
Yes, and he still has a big bank.
He does. But that bank is not going to grow unless he can take another base.
Meanwhile, Suppy's bank is growing.
It is. It's growing quite fast. And Suppy, all he has to do is just deny the 4th. And even if he trades poorly, if there's no 4th coming in from Illusion, it's not really going to matter.
So I feel like we still need to see Illusion trying to trade away units a little bit cost efficient, getting the higher tech out, getting the Ravens out. I think Ravens would be great here. Hunter Seekers on Corruptors and Broodlords.
Oh, the Vikings being taken out. There's so many Corruptors and Broodlords. I don't know. There's just
Did you
enough.
stim and try to kill.
Yeah.
Just blanket this army.
This is just a compositional advantage for Suppy here.
Yeah. So a lot of bio falling, but again, Illusion being as cost efficient as he can, taking down ultras, dodging the fungals, great unit splitting, trying to get his Widowmines up close, but Widowmines are going to take shot at Broodlings, and that's not going to be efficient at all. But the good news is Suppy adding on more Vikings, adding on more Ravens is exactly what he needs, but does Suppy have too much here?
I mean, look, this Illusion's broke, and he has no income. So,
oh, no.
I mean, I think he might get some Vikings and Ravens out, but he's just going to have nothing on the ground. He's just going to be, I mean, this is it. He's dead here.
This game,
nothing he can do
this game is like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's like almost like a chess match mixed with, like a SimCity type game. But Suppy, it came down to him denying his opponent's fourth, and then Illusion just can't get that powerful composition on the map. And there's the GG. Suppy takes the 2-1. So Suppy's still going to be alive for now. Still has to play Telia, but that also means, unfortunately for Illusion, he will be out of WCS America. One of the premier Terran American players falling.
Those Broodlords are really what kind of...
Yeah.
The thing is that, like, he didn't actually have a good army for Ultras either. It was just that he built a SimCity so he could hold on 4 bases. But there wasn't, like, something that would ever let him win the game. It was just like, oh, even though you're way ahead of me at the 15-minute mark, 17-minute mark, you can't actually kill me because I'm going to hide behind, you know, a couple bases. And Suppy's like, well, that's fine. I'll just take a lot of bases. And then I'll eventually get Broodlords. And once he gets Broodlords, this is what happens, right? It's just... There's some cool draw play harassing the 5th a bit, but I mean, once this planetary is his only mining base, so once that goes down, that's the game.
So how do you play this differently at Illusion? Let's say we did restart from replay, and what time would you go to for Illusion, and what would you do differently if you were Illusion?
I would go, well, I would honestly go very early on, and when he stopped building Widow Mines, that's who I would have resumed from replay. Kept building Widow Mines, and then put on some aggression. The thing is if you're going to make an army of pure Marines, Marines are 50 minerals per supply, right? They're one of the cheapest units as far as supply goes in the game, which means, yes, they're good, but if they're a whole max army, it's a very weak max army. Right. Which is, it's fine to go for weak max army, but you got to be very aggressive and keep trading.
Everywhere. Got to be everywhere.
Exactly.
Because the advantage you have there is going to be mobility.
And you can replace them very fast because they're cheap.
Yeah.
But if you just sit on them, your opponent's going to get a composition like we saw. Like, Suppy got Infestors out and Ultraless out. And then, even though he could defend, he never actually had a chance to find a way to trade that army down and replace it with heavier Marauder production, faster Ravens out on the board. You know, those are really the two key things.
I feel like the instant 3-3 finishes as Terran, that should be the time where you really try to get that aggression done.
Or even 2-2, honestly.
2-2, yeah.
If you have a lot of Widow Mines.
Yeah. Because 2-2 have actually finished at the same time between both players, but 3-3 is Terran. It's generally going to be ahead.
You have an advantage.
Right. So just taking advantage of that, and I love the defensive planetary. It's perfect. It's great. But you don't need as many units back home. But then again, as long as Suppy is on top of his air...
The thing is, the planetary is really cool as a defensive tactic, but you can't mass Marines and play defensively.
Yeah.
It's like if a Zerg made nothing but roaches and sat there and you're like, haha, what are you going to do now? And it's like, well, I don't have to do anything. You have a weak composition, right? Or like a Protoss making something but Zealots.
Right.
And just like starts building mass cannons. It's like, no, you mass cannons when you go for high tech, when you go for Tempest Storm, right? Yeah. Or for Zerg, you mass stack defense when you're going for like Brooders or Swarm Hosts. When you're making the basic units, you shouldn't be being defensive. That's a contradiction as far as your strategy philosophy goes.
Oh, pretty great series there. Suppy taking the 2-1, guys. Coming up next, we have the last match of the night. It's going to be Telia versus Suppy, and it's going to decide who's going to advance on into WCS America Premier League Season 2, and who's going to go to Challenger League of WCS America Season 2. An important distinction. We're going to find out what happens after a quick break.